and Tasty Cakes podcast. I'm Bert Lepore. He's Sammy of Monte Carlo. We're hanging here with Angry Mike D, and we talk about music, movies, and so much more.
All right, we're back with another episode of Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes. What episode number are we up to?
152, I think.
Damn, you remember that. 152. Yeah. I always forget.
Well, I'm the guy that edits, right?
Yeah, right. We got a special guest tonight, Matt Porter from the Kiss Room on Montco Radio, and also you can find the podcast pretty much everywhere, right, Matt? Spotify,
anywhere you find
Apple.
good podcasts, not Spotify. They canned us. So
really?
On there for about a minute. You know, they invited a whole bunch of podcasters. We want you to be on Spotify. We want you to be on Spotify. And about 2 months later, canned everybody I knew. So
that's weird. Okay.
It ain't like they really pay a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
exactly. We weren't making a penny.
What the fuck?
But I digress.
Well, yeah. Screw Spotify.
That's
everywhere
insane.
else is fun.
That's insane. Listen, I want my percent of a penny.
Right.
Yeah.
We make enough on Spotify to pay for Spotify every month. That's
right.
It pays the bill.
That's all you're looking for, right?
Yeah, we're just looking like, that's it. Yeah, so we're here with Matt Porter. Now, Matt's name I've heard forever in the Kiss circle. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. He's been on a ton of different podcasts and shows. All the guys know the Three Sides guys. All them guys know Matt. They all know Matt. So it's pretty cool when we see him because he's like, it's like the hometown guy, right? You're like, he's on.
I started the Kiss Room. It's back in 2012.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's been a number of years, and that's even before that, I used to do just specials because I mean, I don't know if anybody that knows me knows Montco Radio, and Montco Radio has that internet radio since like 2003 or something. So I would sneak on, and it was usually around my birthday, which is January 5th, or it was around spring break because there was nobody around, but it was always around May 11th because in history of, Montco, Kiss was supposed to play at Montgomery County Community College on May 11th, 1974. Huh. And it never happened, but I have
a poster you have?
That's the poster that I have. But if you look down the dates, you can actually see where it's got, different colleges and things like that. And the poster that I have is actually advertising April and May shows into June, really. But they're advertising the first album, had just come out in February. Kiss is sending the country up in smoke. So you figure February, you have the debut album. February, March, April, they're promoting a gig May 11th at Montco, and it says Montgomery County Community College Gym, Bluebell, PA, and they're not even the headliner. The headliner is Argent.
Oh, wow.
And that's the funny part. And then if you look in the book Kiss Live Forever, and then the librarian, my friend Jerry used to be the librarian of Montco. He found the piece in the Mont Gazette that says Argent concert canceled because of the usual problems, money, time, and they couldn't get a forklift and a perfectly tuned piano. So almost Montco's place in Kiss Street. But that's really, and you figure, I've been a fan forever, but that was really how, as the internet kind of popped up, and then when I started doing that, you start kind of connecting with everybody on the planet. But it was really, there weren't that many even Kiss podcasts. Podcast was around, and there was, everybody knows Cassius Morris, who now is like a superstar broadcaster. He was 10 when I did his podcast called Creatures of the Net. It was him and a co-host. And if you added their ages together and doubled it, I was older when I was on their podcast. So it was just, so yeah, I've been around doing podcasts, like specifically Kiss podcasts for a long time. So
yeah. Now, are you like the guys from, probably the ones I listen to the most, or I listen to Three Sides all the time. I kind of enjoy that one. And I like the what's the name one too, the FAQ. I get a kick out of those guys.
Julian Gill, probably one of the most knowledgeable Kiss fans you could meet. Certainly if you've read his books, but also just one of the nicest person you could meet. The Three Sides guys I've met a couple times at Kiss conventions. Obviously Julian I met a couple times. I ran into Julian at the last Kiss show. That was fun. You know, it was like that weird kind of Love Boat, end of the Love Boat, where you meet everybody who's a character in the story.
Yeah.
They were all at that last show, and it was really it was quite a blast. But the you know, like just a super positive guy in the Kiss world, and that's, you know, I don't know if I've ever been on the Kiss Fact podcast. I can't remember, but there's so many good ones out there. I listen to a lot of them.
And what's the other one? The one Danny likes, is it Pot of Thunder? Is that one that Danny likes? Name?
That's
a great
what
name.
I'm thinking of too.
Great.
Because
there are some good ones out there.
The one Jericho is on that, and he's tight with those
Podcast
guys.
Rock City is really good.
Yeah, that's what
Shout It Out Loudcast.
That's the one.
Shout It Out Loud.
Really,
that's it. Shout It Out Loud.
If you can get past their accents, you know, they have those thick kind of Boston accents, and they fucking curse way too much. But other than that, you know, they're all. I mean, everybody's good. And I think, you know, it's a pretty supportive community. You know, everybody is like, you know, there's no war of Kiss podcasts, so it's you know, it's good.
It's crazy. Somebody hit us up. You know better than us, probably. Yeah, a couple months ago remember when that leak came out?
It was more than that.
This was like a year ago, maybe a year
and a half ago.
The Sam Loomis stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it on one thing.
We reviewed the videos,
and they contacted us if they could use, you know, some of our stuff or whatever. But I don't think that ever came out, did it? That little documentary that was going on.
I've never seen anything really about it, and as far as I know, nobody has ever officially revealed who was behind it. Although, you know, right? Yeah. I mean, there's people that get the finger kind of pointed at them. You know, names you'd know, but who knows? I mean, it's just I didn't even care. I was just thrilled all that stuff came out. You know, and you know, especially since a lot of people that I knew grabbed everything, and then it circulated quite a bit. The one that I love more than anything, I mean, certainly there was a lot of good shows, but there was that 1978 Gene Simmons interview from like PM Magazine, where at the end he has that great quote where the woman says, any last minute comments you'd like to leave, you know, to kind of conform with expectations? And he says, no, but I will say this to all the weird guys and the weird girls out there that, you know, the friends put them down for what they do. Don't think it's so weird. Someday, you know, somebody's going to give you the chance to make a living at it. You stick to it. You be weird. And I've had that on a cassette since 1978. And I had not seen that whole interview since 1978. So when I got a copy of that, I was losing my marbles because I play that quote at the end of every episode of the Kiss Room from the first one ever to now, because it always stuck with me. That idea. And to me, the whole idea with Gene Simmons telling you really just be yourself. If you were weird, be weird. I don't know. It left a lasting impression on 10-year-old me. So,
yeah, man. So before we get into the Ace review, because we're going to review Ace's new record. So tell us a little about Monaco Radio. It's at is it kissroom.net? Is that
so if you go to the kissroom.com, that's my own website, but it streams through Monaco Radio, and anybody that's within the sound of all of our voices. Monaco Radio is comes from Montgomery County Community College, Bluebell, PA. I work in the communication program. I've been there 26 years.
Dude, your voice, to cut you off for 1 second, your voice is fucking perfect. It's totally radio. It's great.
Well, thank you. It's funny because it's something that really, you know, I just have so much fun with. And you know, I've been doing video work. It's funny because people talk about their history in life, but I mean, I walked into what was called the Penridge Media Center back in like 9th grade. So we're talking like, you know, 1982 or something like that. And they had a TV studio where in our high school. So the idea that and now you figure you got to really cast your mind back. This is way pre-internet or YouTube or anything, but we were actually on local cable. And so I fell in love with it, and it changed my life was the fact, you know, people talk about going to school and, you know, moments that change your life. But I mean, it has led me along the entire path of my life was this high school having a TV studio, and we could take out equipment. Now you figure everybody's walking around like, you know, with a phone in their pocket that has high res. But at the time you had a separate huge VHS pack and a camera, and it was stuck all together. And you're hauling all this stuff. Like, you know, it was really a whole thing. And it was really how I got started. And then you go through all these maneuvers over the years, and somehow I managed to make it to Montco, and I work in audio, video, and TV and radio, and it's a great job. And that's one of the things we have. It's called Montco Radio. It's an internet station that's in the building where I am, which is called the Advanced Technology Center. And it's just been a great thing for me. And, you get to share it with students, and it's a club. So it doesn't matter what your major is. If you want to have a radio show, and it's an internet station, so we don't really have a lot of rules. You can't curse, you can't badmouth the college because they pay our bills. But other than that, like if you wanted to come on and play the heaviest metal on the planet, and then Damien comes on and plays polka, every hour could be different. And, and the great thing, even with that, like you could come on and you'd play your own band, because it's not like, some radio stations where you got 10 songs, the weather, the traffic, and coming up next, here's a 10-minute block of commercials. You know what I mean? It's like I play stuff on the Kiss Room from bands from all around the planet, which, they send me stuff, and, it's just really a blast. So, I mean, to make a short story really long, it's just, I've always been really lucky to be able to have that avenue, and be able to do things like this.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just listened to the February episode, which I fucking thought was great.
Thank you.
You were on it with your brother Anthony, your twin brother Anthony, which is even greater, which I didn't know for years until I was like, wait, they got the same birthday? And I was
he's 4 minutes younger and 200 pounds lighter. He loves your show. I mean, he's a big fan of this podcast. The great thing is that, even just as much as we're talking about Kiss, we always shared a bedroom since the time we were born. And so as you grew up, you share records and comic books and talk. My grandma always would say to our mom, what do they talk about? They talk from the minute they get up to the minute they go to sleep. They just talk all the time. So just,
that's great.
It's, so yeah, he is a big fan of your show. He's been on here. I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, I know Anthony. Danny might even know Anthony longer than I do. I know Anthony from Clash and Plaid, Three Chord Money. He is the sweetest, nicest guy you will ever meet. Ever. He is. We tried to even make him go a little bit bad when we had him on here, and he was just the sweetest thing. We were trying. He was like,
he's great.
Was he the Mr. Hanky?
Yes. I told him this. I was like, dude, the great. And I remember the episode. He's like, we're talking about like Christmas songs. And Mike mentions Mr. Hanky, and he's like, I don't know much about Christmas poo.
No, and that's the thing, is like, he really is just the most genuinely kind of great person. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on how much, my brother is really fantastic, and it's really, but then that's the thing. He's had bands going back, and and you saw Andy Watts playing the other night. He's been in a band with Andy for about 30 years, I think. It's like, back before even Clashing Plaid was a band called Chainsaw Jane.
Did you shoot that? You shot that video?
I shot every video. I mean, it's like I used to take my giant camcorder and to every show, and every place. He's got a crate full. When we moved to this house, we moved from a much bigger house to a much smaller house. I said, look, hold on to this crate of tapes, because I don't want anything happening to it. Every gig was documented, and he always tells me, but never show them to anybody. And he'll say, until I stop wearing boots and vests, and he'll know what that means. But it was great. Chainsaw Jane was a lot of fun. I mean, in those days, it's funny, boy, if you could go back in time, that was just rolling around into every stupid club.
Yeah. When we were all young.
Oh my God.
Well, it's cool that everything is documented. He has all that.
Yeah. He's played with Andy for a long time, right?
That goes back. I think their first gig might be 1988 or something. I can't remember the date. It was at a place in Allentown. So they've been in and out of bands together for an awful long time. Yeah. I mean, really going way back. Yeah. So it's there's a whole other show. You should have him come on and do the Anthony Porter discography, and he'll.
I want you two to come on together. I think
he wouldn't even want to talk about Chainsaw Jane, because that was. But that's how you build. You build.
We all done it. Yeah,
we all have that.
We all have our thing. So it's like I was surprised to see him last night, because I haven't seen him in a while. So we played last night at Sweeney's. It was Us, The Last Moments, Boss Hydro, great band.
Right.
The Pinheads, great band. They're starting to do original stuff now. So Eric 13 is just an awesome singer, front man, and he also plays bass in Combi Christ, which is a well-known band under the industrial stuff.
Of course,
He's going to
Boss
tour next week.
Hydro, that's Edmund. I made videos
Edmund,
for
yeah.
Shock Tank Kittens a million years ago. That
Yeah,
he
Edmund's
probably
earlier
has
band.
those, yeah.
So everybody, it's funny because a couple people were talking to us last night, and it's amazing how full circle that everybody, as big as the scene is, everybody is either played with everybody or knows everybody pretty well.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And Anthony's one of those guys, and he'll tell you, I say this to him all the time. We used to go see Clash and Platt, or we used to play with Clash and Platt a lot, in one of my other bands. And I used to tell him, dude, you guys are so much friggin' fun. This place should be packed every night. Yous are just so much fun. So much and easy going.
They're around forever too.
Clash and Plaid, there's pure energy. I mean, there's some of those songs, they're slamming. And I really love that. And that was at a time when, everybody was still really we were like what you just said, everybody was a lot younger back then. And it was just like, we'd be out, and he used to play gigs with all kind of great bands and all kind of great places. And man, I'd go back to that era in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So
Remote Control Betty. Still love the song.
Love that.
Still love that song.
One.
That guitar line is great.
Put that on your calendar. You got to get him on to go through his discography.
I think it's a great. I want these both on together. I think that's a good idea.
I love it.
But he's just such a nice guy. We tried to get him to go a little evil. It didn't. We tried.
He's not evil. If anything, I'm the evil twin. So it's
evil twin.
But shout out to Anthony. Thank you, Ant, for listening every week. And great musician. The 3-chord money stuff's great. You always see Anthony always doing his thing somewhere. He's doing the acoustic guitar thing, and great musician. Fun. His stuff is fun. The Batgirl song. They got so many good songs, man.
Yeah.
Christmas time. He's got 1 or 2 good Christmas tunes.
Yeah, they're great ones.
Yeah.
We made that music video. The one that was just the latest one. Hey Now It's Christmas was actually, if you ever watched that video, that was done in almost one take, where I wrote all the lyrics on that wrapping paper, and my wife was actually laying on the floor with the camera above it, and she's moving all the papers in time. There might only be 2 edits in that whole video. It was almost all real time, which I was really proud of that. So
good stuff, man. So
that's a whole other show.
Yeah. So but when did you actually start getting involved doing Kiss stuff?
Well, I mean, I was one of those lucky kids that was 8 years old in summer of 76 when here comes this thing called Kiss. And, and when you're 8 years old, and for me, like, I can really remember, at that time, everybody in Percy Elementary School was a Kiss fan. And, think about that. What's coming out? You have right off the bat, you're getting Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun. And then you go back and find the first 3 albums, and then there's Kiss Alive. So, I mean, I'm squaring the sights of that age group that's now like, these guys are superheroes that play this music that you can't almost even believe that, like even at the time, like, think about that, like Robert Plant could stand there like, a rock god in a picture. That's just some guy. Gene Simmons is a god. It's just like, when you think about it, and and that's the fun thing. I go back, a lot of the stuff that I buy now is older, 60s, 70s, because I missed it. Like, it's even really funny is, I mean, this is a whole other tangent, but like, I just got this CD by a band called Blackjack, which is because Sandy Gennaro, who's the drummer, came and spoke at Montco, but it's got Michael Bolton, and it's got, obviously Bruce Kulick on guitar. 1979, 80, I would never have bought it because everything was kind of about Kiss to me, and it all starts and ends, and everything as you move into, then all of a sudden it's 80s metal, and you get all these bands. To me, they were all bands that came out of being a Kiss fan, and plus you could draw them, and like I always liked drawing. I'd paint pictures of them, and it was just, I don't know, and I never stopped kind of loving it. So as all over the years, and they never left. I mean, that's the fun thing. I always feel as a Kiss fan so fortunate, because even though they would go through lineup changes or they'd ebb and flow, but to me, they never left. Like, Kiss was always around. I mean, some people, they have their favorite band and they think about their favorite band that was around for a year. Now bands last a minute and a half. It's like, oh, my favorite band put out an album yesterday. Oh, they broke up today.
Yeah,
it's like, so I just always felt really spoiled. It's always been part of my life. And you kind of think about things in your life, like where you were when you heard that song, or who you were with, or what you were doing, or so again, to make a short story really long, all my life pretty much.
I love it. It's weird. I have a Kiss tattoo on me, or a Gene Simmons tattoo, and somebody asked me once, they're like, "Why would you get Gene Simmons on your arm?" I'm like, "I've been looking at that face for as long as I can remember."
Right. There's like, it's almost not even a time. I mean, I think you're younger than me. I'm 56. So in 1976, by the time we're discovering them, it, like being 8 years old, there was almost no part of your life when Kiss didn't exist, to somebody, which is also, I think, one of the most fascinating things is I love talking to people because everybody jumps in at a different point. If you talk to somebody that discovered Kiss without the makeup, imagine if you discovered them in 1985 and then you go, look at all these other albums that I could get.
The best part, yeah.
And that's the fun part, was kind of getting them as they came out. Now, see, that's a whole other thing right there. You discover them in 85. What do you think when you go back to those early albums?
When I got in, it was like 88. I thought they were two different bands.
Right.
I thought there are two different bands with the same logo, because I would look at the pictures, and there's no way that those two guys were those two guys. To me, they look so totally different.
Paul had the same hair on his chest from the
Here you go, Mark.
I know, right? But I was, figure I was 10, 11 years old, but
right.
It makes sense now, but back then it didn't. They looked like totally different people,
Yeah.
That's the funny thing is I always kind of find it fascinating. Like, even like I said, when I did that Creatures of the Net podcast, was they were 10-year-olds and Sonic Boom was their first album. But they loved it. I mean, they loved it. And here I am on this dinosaur talking with these really young kids. And I just find it fascinating, like, to see a generation like decades later having that same feeling that I had. And I think that's actually, it's funny how, like, and to kind of even to curl it into what we're going to talk about with the Ace album, you've had them through every aspect of your life. Like when you're a young kid, you're older, then, your life changes. You do this and that and the other, but there was always this Kiss. But I think people that if you just discover it today, you almost can't imagine the idea that we didn't know what they looked like.
Yeah.
In 1978, you did not ever see them without the makeup. They only existed. And the other thing is, and this is, I think, most of life probably has been kind of ruined by the internet, because there's no secrets. Like when you think about it, when they did the 1978 solo albums, they kind of hated each other. Even Ace is brought up constantly. Well, they said if I needed help, they should, I should call them and blah, 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 blah. But we never knew that. They badmouthed each other in private. Now they're doing it all right in Twitter or Facebook or Ace in every interview. I'm going to make them look ridiculous. And you go, it was the same thing in 1978, but we didn't know it.
Right.
So they could control the image that they wanted. And as a fan, you got this much, no matter what was going, like, you didn't know any of the problems in the band. Yeah. Oh, we just saw Peter the other day. We're great friends. Like in reality, but like in Kids Are People Too, he just got married. He's having a great time.
Yeah.
In the meantime, there was horrible fighting in the band. So I don't know. It's just, I think it's funny, the whole thing with Kiss, how it kind of just goes in a big circle, only now we know a little bit more behind the scenes.
Yeah. They go from like bashing each other in the press and going, but we love each other. We're like brothers.
Right.
It's so
it's funny because at some point, I think you'd almost have to look at your life and say, my life was great because of what I did with these other guys. Yeah. And I think all of them certainly have had a windfall of life, that bands especially, it's lightning in a bottle. To be as big and last as long as Kiss. Mm-hmm. So you'd have to have some, love for each other. But then again, it's like everything else, if you try to order lunch with the same 4 people for a month, by the end somebody's pissed off. So
somebody rubs somebody the wrong way. Eventually, it just happens. It's natural.
I said American cheese. You got provolone.
It's like the crazy thing, and the only band I can think of off the top of my head that did it was Aerosmith, that came back just as big or bigger twice. twice. Kiss had two big shots.
Right.
The original shot, which we remember, but if you go back, there's people that were saying, man, they were even bigger the second time around. And it's like weird to me that they were, but like maybe they were, you know?
And a lot of it, both bands have kind of the same story of, maybe you get a little too successful, a little too quick, and then drugs, will rip you apart. And I mean, I think it's the same problem with with Kiss was Aerosmith, certainly like to powder their noses maybe way more than anybody. What I mean? And that's when you read all the 4 Kiss biographies and you really realize that, like, Paul Stanley, I think especially, really has a lot of hangups in his life, about his life. And you go like, that we were never privy to as fans. Like, you never heard Paul left because he has to go for his ear or whatever. That was such a secret. Like, how did he keep that secret for decades?
A long time, yeah.
It's just a lot of good long hair, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, forgot to mention, Anthony also has in common with his love for wrestling. That's another thing. Are you a wrestling fan too?
Oh yeah, sure.
There you go.
All that stuff going back, but even that, like, that's you think about the 70s, when Chief Jay Strongbow and the Wild Samoans and all that stuff, and then it leads into Hulkamania and Ultimate Warrior, and we grew up at the best time for all that stuff.
Yeah.
Everything. That's the problem. Like I always take it to like maybe we're just getting older and it's other time. And you always hear, I want to use Mark's line from 3 Sides. Everything's timeline. He's so right, because it's like, we were talking the other day, when I first was going out with my wife, when she was my girlfriend, Judas Priest Painkiller was in my CD player, the little Walkman thing. And I walked home every night for like 8 months with you. And that's my favorite Judas Priest record. Why? Probably because I listened to it 8 months straight, or Michael.
Other guys are walking home from their girlfriend's house listening to love music and this and that. You're listening to Judas Priest
Painkiller.
But but that's also the fact. There is the fact that at the time in your life, you're dating your girlfriend. It's exciting. There's an excitement to it. You associate that Judas Priest with a great time in your life.
Yeah.
And where you were, who you were with, probably what you were doing at the time. And, it really, it's I think that has a lot to do with it. It's like, it really is something that, especially as we talk about all the Kiss stuff, you remember it was the soundtrack forever. It was like, and for me, that's the thing. Everybody says, well, man, like I talk to people, oh, you're still into all that Kiss stuff. Of course.
Yeah. Well, it's like, Kiss fans are rough, right? So everybody bitches about everything, but when they put them on, they smile.
Right.
I still smile. I'm like, it could be rock, You Make Me Rock Hard, which I think is the worst song ever, but I'll still be like, ha, 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 ha. I'll still get some kind of kick out of it. There goes Paul doing fucking weird cardio shit back in the day.
He's at the little, what's he doing?
Yeah, look at that. You both did it at the same time. That's great. Well, that's what I mean. It's like it still puts a smile on my face, after all these years. But
exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna go to some crazy questions for you near the end. But let's get into this Ace record.
It's funny we're talking about wrestling. I have my Yves Torre SummerSlam cup. It's
nice. That's how about that? I never seen that one.
So I don't even know what year this is. I don't know. I've just always had it, and it's great because it holds a lot of ice. So
yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to start this Ace Frehley review, and I'm waiting for my copy to come in. I ordered it late. I thought I was going to be able to get a copy of it, ahead of time, of course, because it was between that and Amigo to Devil. I'm like, Amigo's probably going to be harder to get, so I'll order that from Amazon. And Ace, I could just go to Target and get it. Of course, nobody has it. So I looked all over today for it. I'm like, I guess I'll just have to wait another day or two. But we've all listened to it, of course, and we know about it. I know Steve Brown did an excellent job. Probably was a lot of the writing, probably, I guess, the engineering, the producing, whatever he did. What a job he did, man. I mean, it sounds...
Yeah, you can hear.
It sounds the cleanest Ace record. It's clean. It's big. It sounds clean. The last record, not the last record, not Space Invader, 2 records before that had decent songs, but it was like a staticky sound. It just wasn't a clean sound, and I think he did a really good job with Ace. Even with the singing, you could tell Ace was trying, he was. So I think that was great. PJ Farley played a bunch of bass on it. Joey Casada played a lot of drums on it. I also think Anton Fig played on a couple songs.
Anton Fig's on 3 songs. I mean, I was actually really, it's funny in some ways, like you just mentioned Joey Casada, nicest guy on the planet.
Yeah, he's nice.
And I'm absolutely thrilled for these young guys that grew up as Kiss fans. If you ever read Joey's book, which is fantastic, think about that. ZO2 was on tour with Kiss. They're playing wiffle ball with Kiss. Things like that, where you start seeing these people that in their lives, the idea that someday you'd be playing on a Kiss album, or for Steve Brown, I mean, Trickster toured with Kiss, and then there he is really being Ace. Like, I feel like pulling things out of Ace that we really just have never heard, which, and in some ways you just say it's almost that, hey, wow, when you were 10, did you ever think you'd be producing Ace's album,
Right.
It's crazy. And I go on the Jericho cruise every year. And I actually had a chance to talk to Steve before the record came out, and he was amped up. Like, he was totally amped up. Talked to Joey for a little bit. Same thing, amped up, man. Like, and he told me he played on a couple tunes, and yeah, so good stuff for those guys. I mean, like you said, it's got to be like one of those things that they still love Kiss.
Yeah.
After all these, they still love Kiss, which a lot of us do. We all bitch and complain about this and that. Ahmed, guy in our band, one of the biggest Kiss fans, I ever met in my life. I mean, like, if you go, I don't like what Paul did there, he'll go, well, why? Like, you can't get nothing by him. He'll be like, well, I want a reason why,
Yeah, he posts great stuff even in my Kiss Room Facebook group. He's in there all the time, and I really appreciate that, because you do get people who just still love it, and that's the key. There's a lot of people that really love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan, man. Med's a huge fan. I'm like,
yep,
wow, like crazy. I mean, I thought I was a big fan. No, not even close. Not even close, man. All right, so we're gonna get into this Ace album here. And what we do here, we all get the songs, we give them an individual ranking, and then I take that individual ranking and give an average for the panel. So sometimes our favorite songs aren't number one. It's just the way it kind of mingles up over there. And then we break it down to, we don't want to say worst, but least favorite song to what we think is the favorite song. Same thing. Everybody gives their least favorite to best, and then we take those numbers and jumble them up. And looking at the numbers here, like all Kiss fans, we're all over the place. What my number one is might be your last one. It's like we're all over the place, which is great. It's definitely great. So, there's 11 songs on here. We never do the instrumental, so we always leave the instrumental out because that's kind of hard to rate, right?
Oh, it might be a really good instrumental one day.
It is. The instrumental is good. Right. Stratosphere. It's good. It's good. It's a good instrumental. I'm glad he didn't call it, Fractured 9000 or whatever.
Fractured, yeah.
Right. I think the last fracture we got was Quantum Flux or something like that. It's Quantum Flux. And then the last record, I think he called it something else. But I really think this record is, the best one since Trouble Walking, probably. I really do. I think, and you know what? And Trouble Walking, same thing, timestamp. This one might be better than Trouble Walking. I'm just thinking that Trouble Walking, I remember listening to a lot,
Yeah, it was a pretty damn good album.
That was a good record. All right, guys, so we're going to start off with number 10. I'm going to start off with Dame, Matt, Mike, and then we'll give our little opinion on the song. Number 10, Constantly Cute. What you got, Damo?
Well, first off, I rated all, we rated all these from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Everything, I thought the album was really, really good. Definitely is his most solid record in a long time, like front to back. But one of the takeaways that kind of like lost points was just the effect, or I don't know if it's auto tune or whatever, but whatever effect he has on his voice just kind of like took away some of it for me. It didn't sound like Ace isn't Pavarotti. I accept his voice. It's how he is. He's not the greatest singer, but there was a certain charm to his natural
slur,
raw voice.
It's funny, Damien.
This overproduced sound that he has.
Will you say, Mike?
What's that?
What's funny is because I looked, I'm like, I'm not like, I'm probably the least Kiss fan in this room here right now. So I'm looking, I'm like, who's doing the vocals on this? And I'm thinking it's Stephen Pearcy. And I'm like, Bert, I was like, who's doing the vocals on this? Is it Stephen Pearcy? He's like, no. He's like, it's Ace. I'm like, really?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear what you're saying because they both have not like similar voices, but in tone, I guess,
Yeah.
tonal qualities. But so I mean, the album I think if produced vocally, a different approach, maybe less effects or whatever, would have been a lot better. But with that being said, constantly cute. I think the music is really good. I think the lyrics, and that's a other
Cringy.
thing, a bit cringy. And Ace's lyrics usually are like corny, but that's again, it's like part of his charm. But this is just a little, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I gave it like 6.75, and a lot of it was just because I thought the music was really good. But
Yeah. What you got, Matt?
This was easily, like when you sent me the list, they said you got to rank them 1 to 10. This was easily the bottom one for me. I think the lyrics are so stupid that,
yeah,
when are you going to hear "coy" in a, I was like, I don't know. And it's just this one, it almost like whoever said the word cringy, this song is cringy. I skip it every time.
Yeah.
It really, there's just something about it that it just doesn't catch me at all. And plus, it's near the end of the album, and the start of the album is so strong that when you hit, by the time you get to this, I don't know, I'm just like, man, I'm gone. And it really, I think I gave it like a 2. I mean, Damien, you
Yeah,
gave it
that
a
was the
pretty
worst
solid
score at all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I easily gave it the worst score. I mean, there was
Yeah.
no doubt that it was the bottom of the barrel. And it was funny because even when you sent me the thing and it said, okay, rate them, am I giving this a 1 to 10 based on just this album? Or are we saying like this is a 10 compared to like Detroit Rock City?
Right.
You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
yeah.
if it was like Detroit Rock City versus this, like that's like 100. This is still a 2. Really, I don't know. This song is easily without even trying. I think it's the worst song on the album.
Yeah. Mike D.
It could have been for me. I had this at number 9. Yeah, and I'm not going to ruin the next one, but yeah, it was just cringy. Like I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm just like, man, I'm like, how old is Ace?
Old.
71, I
72,
think.
70, yeah,
Yeah.
71, 70.
Like, was this the one where he's singing about the girl next door or something like that? And this, like, was this, and I'm like, wait a minute, like you're like 70 something years old singing about the girl next door. Like you should be singing about the Golden Girls. Like,
B. Arthur.
yeah.
You ever watch the Golden Girls now? I always thought they were like 90, but they're like 50.
Yeah,
And
it's
wait
weird.
a minute, they're like my age in that show, and you go, wait a minute,
Crazy.
they all look like grandmoms.
Yeah, you look at your wife and go, I guess I did okay.
Right, exactly. I think that all the
That's
time.
what
It's
I'm like, I did all right.
it's the haircut, I guess. I don't know.
Dude, it's that old lady haircut.
Right.
I think in the 80s and maybe 90s, I think once you hit a certain age, you get the short haircut with your hair don't grow down, it grows up now. It's like the old lady hair. It's exactly what it is.
The B. Arthur, the Marcy
Right.
Darcy.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's weird.
Oh.
It's definitely you're on point with that, Matt. It's definitely right. Constantly cute. I actually gave it a 7. I thought the music was good.
You thought the song was constantly
I
cute.
thought it was
Yes, you
constantly
did.
cute, yeah. And then when Ace tells the story, well, my girlfriend says I'm constantly cute. I'm like, listen, that title, I don't care if you're Metallica. That title, you're set to fail. It ain't happening.
Right,
You're
right.
already in trouble. Right. So you're already in trouble with the title. It's hard to get over the title,
Yeah.
right?
Bert was feeling coy and gave it
I
a
was
6.
feeling
Boy.
I thought the pre-chorus was pretty cool. It had some melody to it. The backing vocals on that little break, that little weird looking sounding almost Def Leppard-ish kind of backing vocal part. I thought that was cool. You could really trying to sing well. Like Steve was probably like, all right, Ace, like, pronounce your words. Like you could, because he's kind of like, you could tell he's trying, like he's definitely trying, or they're trying to get him to, do it again. One of those things. Like it almost sounds like his vocals during the verse, like when you write a song and you sing it and you're not really comfortable, you're not sure. It's not that it's bad, but you're not sure if it's the right delivery. Kind of has that feel to me. You could tell that he's kind of like trying, But yeah, that being said, it comes in number 10. So moving on to number 9. Back Into My Arms Again. We're really mixed on this one. Started off with Damo.
Yeah, we are kind of all over.
We're all over the place on this one.
This is one of my least favorites. I gave it a 6.5. Again, musically, I thought it was thought it was good. I'm not into Ace singing like ballads like this. He did one on Anomaly. I can't remember the name. But I wasn't into that one either. But the chorus is really good, I thought. When it gets to the chorus, I thought the chorus is strong. Yeah, but I gave it a 6.5. It wasn't one of my favorites.
Yep. What do you got, Matt?
So, I was shocked because when I saw your list, my eyes were popping because I rated this the number one song only because the fact now, if you go back, I've had this as a demo from probably about 1988. Yeah. And I mean, wow. I managed to get it off. It was on a Frehley's Comet demo that I got. Does anybody remember Prodigy message service boards? Like where you would meet with people and then you would trade tapes. And I mean, this is way back, but I mean, this song has existed in some form or another since the mid 80s. And I was absolutely thrilled to see it get a real release. And the funny thing, you hear a lot of people, especially if you spend any minute on the internet, well, why is he phrasing the words like that way? But I mean, the original demo, he does that same time has gone so slowly. It's not like this is a new approach.
Yeah.
But for me, like, and it goes back to exactly what we were talking about before. There's a lot of nostalgia with this because I would get it on those cassettes where it's like, you got at those expos and like, and you would be thrilled to find a cassette with songs you hadn't heard. And I have a couple cassettes of it where it was on with like a lot of the stuff that became Frehley's Comet stuff. And I just always loved the song. So when it popped out, like, and I saw the title, I'm like, man, I hope this is really the same song. And the first, I popped it. I got the files for this on Thursday. Somebody sent them to me before it was out. I must have listened to it 10 times in a row. I love the song. That's why I was surprised to see it get such low scores among the rest of you. But I don't know. I love it. I think it's a different pace, but I think it's probably one of the most well-written songs on the album. It's different because, it's not just that straight ahead Ace rock. And it just, like I said, it probably just has heavy doses of nostalgia for me. But yeah, so I loved it. I think on our list, I gave it a 9. I actually rated it
high.
My favorite song on the album. So it's just, it really, so yeah, I was surprised to see it come in so low on everybody else's list, but I give it 2 thumbs up for that.
Cool. Mike D.
I gave it a 5.5. To me, it was just a little boring. It kind of, I don't know, the beginning part reminded me it was like a little bit Green Day, but I don't know.
Way before Green Day. Way
before Green Day, right? But yeah, it just didn't do it for me.
I gave it a 6.9. It's okay. I think it's an okay song. You could tell it's an older song. You can definitely tell it's an older song. It's not bad. It's just okay. I mean, it sounds like Ace, but you could tell, like Matt said, it's an older song. It's been around for a long, long time. Yeah, I heard the demo before. I kind of thought it was cool. Not my favorite, but it's cool. It's cool that he actually did it. Coming at number 8, Cherry Medicine. What you got, Damo?
When did I do the rankings? Friday, I think. I probably should have ranked this, gave us a better rating because I do really like this song a lot better than I did when I gave it a 6.95 on Friday. Because, man, that fucking chorus is so catchy. It's stuck in my head. It's really good. And, yeah, I probably would have gave it, like, closer to an 8 probably. But, yeah, I like it. It's probably one of my favorites on the record.
Cool. Matt?
Yeah, I rank this pretty high. I like it. I think, the way he says medicine is a little weird.
You text that to me. I was laughing.
Right. It's like, it's like a little tough, but I think it's a great riff. It's funny because sometimes one of the things that happens is if a song comes out as a single, you tend to hear it out of the context of the album. So I heard this when the video came out. The video is spectacular.
I like
the fact that, it's funny because obviously a lot of the songs on this album, he's writing about his new girlfriend. Everybody knows Lara from her work and on her own art website and things like that. And when you see her in that video, and I think the one girl may be her daughter and everything, but they're, and like you almost feel kind of bad, kind of looking at them in a way that you go, look, that's Ace's girlfriend, but I'm staring at her in her outfit. I know why, she's writing songs about her. She's really hot,
Yeah.
and I think the video for
Inspiration.
that, that's exactly it, is the fact that when you think about this video, it is a throwback to the days when bands had hot chicks dancing in videos and we were all much younger, and now they're younger than me. So like a lot of, you look and you almost feel like, oh, I don't know if I should be looking at these young girls putting cherries in each other's mouth. But it really, I love it. I also, I mean, it's cool to see, obviously Ryan Spencer Cook and Jeremy Asbrock and Scott Coogan, in those videos. I don't even know if they played on much on the album, but I mean, again,
Great
super
band.
nice guys.
Great band.
That are like, that had been his backing band, that were Ace's backing band. And again, it's guys that, Jeremy was in an Ace tribute band before he was ever in Ace's band. And you just see like the idea that they have come that far, that now they're in the music video.
Yeah.
And whoever made the music video, like, I totally give them kudos. It looks amazing in an era when bands just don't do that anymore. Like, I don't think music videos are even like important unless you realize that it is, because people want something visual.
Sure.
But so to make a short story on this one long, I think it's catchy. It's not probably the best song, but I think it's a really solid song. I think if he said maddest different, it would be a better song.
Yeah.
Mike T.
I mean, I thought the music in it was really good. It was just, again, it goes back to like, I'm like, man, this is just, the lyrics are just cringy. It sounded like something straight out of like 1986, 87 or something like that. So it was just like, I don't know. I can't do this one again. I mean, I gave it a 5. It was at the bottom of my list, interchangeably with Constantly Cute.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Does anybody else hear? I was gonna say, do you hear the Stacy's mom lick in it?
Yeah.
Stacy's mom, and you got.
I love that song too.
You kind of get it because it's the one girl's mom, and they're all too young, and I shouldn't be looking at.
It works. It definitely works.
The
Sorry,
one
Damien.
thing I forgot about this song is the line. You make me feel better with your black leather.
Of course, yeah, he's got to
shock me.
Shock me.
I love it when bands like, of that age go back and like, kind of steal from one of their songs. I love that. I wish you would see that more.
The obvious, what do they call it? The obvious Easter egg.
Cooper does a lot of that.
Cooper does it. Yeah, Cooper does it.
Well, and then you watch that video, and there they are, all in those leather pants, and I get what he's saying.
It was a good video. It's the best video out of the 3 so far.
Yeah.
Definitely the best video out of the 3. Cherry Medicine, for me, I gave it a high score. I gave it an 8.75. I'll start by saying, if this was a young, new artist, especially if it was like a Taylor Swift or something like that, singing that chorus, it'd be fucking huge. Huge.
Right.
If it was a young artist and it wasn't an older artist, like, a popular, probably even a popular female artist, this song, they should have took the song and fucking sold it. It would have been huge because the chorus is unbelievable. It's chorus is timeless. It really is. It's a good time chorus, like a summer hit. It could be like a summer hit, like one of those summer songs.
I was going to jump in on that. Is this album, and now it's funny because we're recording this tonight, but the weather was really nice today. Windows down, music up. This album will definitely be one of those that stays in the rotation all summer. You hit it right on the head. This is one of those songs that in the middle of the summer, this is an anthem, and it's just like, it really, plus the one thing I like about a lot of these, he's singing about himself. You came into my life. Like, I want to hear. He's talking about his own experience. He's talking about this new girlfriend. I don't know if Cherry Medicine's her nickname or like, I mean, you don't know where that comes from, but like that idea that he made it about himself.
Yeah.
Those are the songs I think that are the strongest on the album. And I think but yeah, you hit it right on the head. This is that summertime vibe.
Man, I really think, if a younger artist put this out, this song's money. It's money. That chorus is probably overall the catchiest chorus on the record, I think. If there was a song you go, this can make money, that would be the song.
Yeah.
Maybe Ed Sheeran will cover it for you.
Oh God, no.
You never know. Ace would be like, yeah, Ed Sheeran offered me. I told him $5 million.
He probably doesn't
Ace,
even know who Ed Sheeran is.
listen, if they offer Ace a couple of million, he'll mail it to them. I'll use the emails. Ace
I
will
know
take the cash.
technology.
Yeah. In this juncture, I was okay with it. You know?
And that juncture was good.
Dude, I love. He's the only guy I know that uses that line. It's like that's the Ace line juncture. Like
Yeah.
I love it. I never heard anybody else use it in my life. Oh. But definitely, I mean that song, if that gets in the right hands, that's fun. He did a great job with it. Like I said, you could really tell that Steve tried to get his vocals really worked. You could tell he was definitely, and it sounds like Ace was really trying, you know. That song's really good. Number 7, Life of a Stranger. What you got, Damo?
This is easily my least favorite, and I was very generous with a 6.25 score.
Wow.
Probably because I thought the record as a whole was really good, and I just wanted to be nice, I guess, to keep the average up.
I'm surprised. I went
Me
totally
too.
opposite. I went totally
Yeah.
opposite on this
But yeah,
Wow.
I probably would have gave it probably a Matt Porter Constantly Cute too,
one. Oh
because there's
man!
nothing about it I like. It's just kind of just there.
Wow! Wow!
Does nothing for me.
How about you, Matt?
See, I'm right with Damien on this. I ranked it really low. And because I think this is one where he really sounds like he's struggling with the vocal. To me, and it's funny because just now you gave his last song away to Ed Sheeran or whatever. This song would like Y&T would kill on this song. It's got
Yeah.
those, it even has that like 10 era Y&T. Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa, right? If you could think of,
Sure.
you know, like that era of Y&T, but imagine like that kind of slow bluesy thing, but with Dave Meniketti doing those blues licks.
Yeah.
I don't know. This song probably it felt almost like it wasn't really like fleshed out enough for me, you know, like, and I think that I was surprised when I saw you guys that had ranked it higher because to me, this just, it doesn't seem to fit at all.
Well,
Yeah.
it is a cover song, which I
I
know
didn't know
everybody.
that.
It's
Really?
a cover
Now,
song.
who wrote the original? of
Okay,
that?
so yeah, check this out. So it's an artist called Nadia, and he heard it at the end of, I think it was Transporter 2, that Jason
Wow.
Strahan, and he heard it, and this is why I ranked it so high. I'm gonna go out of turn here for a second. I want to throw you my idea here. The reason why I ranked it so high, I mean, this is my favorite song on the record. I think it's great. I think
Wow.
if Ace has a shot of getting any song out there at the age bracket he's in right now, this is the song. It was at the end of the Transporter 2 movie. Nadia was the girl who sang it. I love his song choice of this cover because I never heard it till I listened to Ace version first. It's so out of the box. Instead of him doing something everybody knows, it's something totally different. And it's got the current, you know, everybody uses that current, whoa, you know, that kind of stuff. The American Idol kind of trick that they're using now. So I loved it. I
That
thought he did a
explains it.
great
Okay.
job. So you guys got to go back and listen to the original and go,
Yeah,
oh shit,
okay. I'll
Ace
do
tried
that.
something different. So that might
Yeah.
change your perspective. I think maybe
Could
that's
be.
why if
Yeah.
I just heard this thinking it's an Ace song, I'd be like, what's he trying to do? Probably. But
Yeah.
knowing that it's a cover had definitely made me think of it differently. So yeah, check out the cover if you could.
Yeah, having never heard the cover, I exactly said, what the hell's he trying to do?
Right, right. So at first you'd be like, okay, he's trying to write an Ed Sheeran type of kind of, you know, song maybe, or, you know, like a kind of like a down, which they don't really write down stuff, right? More of
Right.
it's more of a down kind of, but it's a woman that sings it. And once you hear the original, which is pretty good, and then you listen back to this, you go, oh wow, okay, not bad, Ace. Like good for trying that, you know, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I think you guys might think differently once you hear the
I'll have to
original.
give that another shot.
Yeah, definitely. Mike D.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of big and epic-y sounding. You know, I'm
Yes.
not like the Kiss fan you guys are expecting something,
Yeah. No,
you
it's
know, but I don't know. I kind of liked it.
yeah.
This is your,
Like I
one of
said,
your
you-
higher ranking.
I read this is like number 3. Like I had the top
Yeah.
3 were like all 8s for me. So
Yeah.
this could have been interchangeable with the top 3.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when I heard it. I was like, same thing Matt said. I was like, all right, this is different. Like, this is not nowhere near what I expected.
You ranked this a
Yeah.
9? That's
I
your
ranked it
highest
a
ranking?
9. It's my
Wow.
highest ranking song. I loved it.
Hmm.
I loved it. I went back.
Great.
I listened to. I like the epic sounding of it, like Mike said. I went back, I listened to the original, I went back. This album, no lie, and I haven't done this, and I can't tell you how long. I had to listen to this album 8 times within 3 days, 3 days. I haven't done that in years. So there's something I must like, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I just, it's got something about it as a whole. Yeah, so I think me going back and listening to the original, going back and forth a couple times, going, wow, like I was pretty happy for him. I was like, it sounds epic. It sounds current, you know. If he's got a shot of maybe getting this on another different soundtrack, you know, I'm like, you know, I think it'll be relevant. I really do. Okay, moving on to number 6, Blinded. What you got, Damo?
I like this one. I gave it a 7. You know, if it would have lived with me for another day or two, I probably would have gave it a little slightly higher score, maybe closer to an 8. But yeah, I really like it. I think the lyrics are pretty good for Ace. I don't know if he wrote all the lyrics. I'm going to guess it. Maybe let me see. Yeah, it was written with Steve Brown, so I don't know what Steve's involvement in this song was, but I thought the song was pretty good. I mean, again, it's got a catchy chorus that sticks with you, which is always the key for a great song.
And with the lyrics, he's talking about the way technology, as much as he loves technology, the way technology is really screwing around with some things too. So
AI and all that stuff.
Very interesting from a guy who's always been a tech guy right from as far as we can remember. He was always into that stuff.
Kind of deep for Ace, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the different subject matter, but still in line with his character too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he freelanced it out.
Yeah.
What you got, Matt?
You know what? I'm right on the same page with Damien. I gave it a 7 as well. I think there's anybody of a certain age, as soon as he says we're blinded by science, you think, blinded me with science.
Absolutely.
Science,
that's what I thought.
ear, right?
Yeah,
And when that first line came on, when I first heard it, I'm like, whoa, is he going to really do a Miss Sakamoto? You're beautiful. You know, like you're waiting for that. You know what I mean? Like I thought this was actually fun because it's absolutely the most kind of about current events, you know, like, and he really, again, going back to, I like the fact that we're all blinded by science and we're all in fear or whatever. Like he's including himself. He's not saying you are, and that you're stupid for using the internet or you're stupid for using this technology.
We're all screwed.
We're all screwed, you know, and I think anybody, like, you know, there's so many good things about technology. I mean, look, the fact that we can have this conversation with everybody in a different place, technology is awesome. It lets everybody get together. But the problem is it lets everybody get together. And it's like, it really, you know, it lets people kind of, you know, it gives you sometimes a glimpse of the world that you maybe didn't want, but
you don't need to see everything.
You don't need as much information. And I thought that was what I thought really resonated with me on this song, was that he's really pointing that out, is that maybe, and the thing is, look, I mean, we all know it's never going to slow down. We're never going to go back to channel 3, 6, 10, 17, 29, 48, you know, PBS, if the rabbit ears were right, you know,
you put the tin foil in the rabbit ears.
You know, and at the end where he's saying like zeros and ones, it's that whole vibe. Everything's just digital.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I like this song a lot. I think it's super catchy. And, you know, certainly, you know, the song is really good, but I thought more than anything, I thought the words really, I thought were some of the most inspired lyrics on the album.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We say it on this podcast all the time, and we're all guilty of that. We love that. We're like, shit, man, if you want McDonald's, you could, you know, order from whatever and you can get McDonald's. If you want a record tonight or tomorrow, you could order from Amazon. You're going to have it tomorrow. It's awesome. And at the same time, it sucks because you have nothing to look forward to. You know, something, listen, we always repeat this, I know I do, is that if something was coming on, a movie was coming on for the first time at 8:00, if you missed it, you fucking missed it. You had to wait 2 years till the VHS tape came out.
Right.
You know, so
like Wizard of Oz, that came out once a year came on.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a big event.
It's an event.
Like, you know, when you were growing up, did you ever think that Star Wars, which was like religion to me, would be on at 4:00 in the afternoon on TBS? Like Star Wars was like, that should only be shown like that one time when we'd all sit and watch it. Now I got Disney Plus. I watch it 10 times a day if I want.
Yep.
You know, and you're exactly right. I mean, even the fact that it's funny with the way the marketing on this went, it like there was 67 different variant covers and all this, that, and the
Of
other.
course, yeah.
I went to the Q Mart today, even though I had the tracks, I wanted a physical copy and I wanted to walk into the store and buy it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's easy to order everything online. There's nothing greater than you walk in the store and there it is, and you take it. And I mean, again, that it's probably even what we talked about in the start. A lot of it's the nostalgia, running through the store to get Kiss Alive 2, or running to the store to get, like you had to go buy an album. It's different. It's
Yeah.
totally different.
I just remember you would look through because you didn't know when stuff came out. So it's like,
Right.
you'd walk in the record store and you look for your favorite band. And oh shit, they have a new one out. Grab
Great.
it.
Yeah. Well, you were saying that to me the other day, Mike. You were saying, because I was saying, you know what? Because we both went on a vinyl tear. Within the last couple of years. I'm like, you know what? I got to realize I don't need to really buy everything. He's like, yeah, but listen, even if you buy the download or something like that, he's like, you don't have the physical. Eventually, the licensing might go away, and you might not be able to get that now. You want the physical, and guess what? He's 100% right.
I think it's going to eat itself at a certain point, and the prices are going to go up. There's going to be less music on there. There's going to be, you go here and listen to the Beatles, go here and listen to the Doors. You can't have them both. So what? You're going to have 2 services now. And, things are just going to get messed up. It's going to get just like what's going on with cable and all these plus channels and everything like that. So,
yep,
you're right.
Yep, exactly. Mike, Blinded, what's your thoughts on that one?
But you know what? I'm going to have to listen to this again because now I'm a little more intrigued by the lyrics. I just couldn't get the Blinded by Science out of my head. I heard that. That's the first thing I heard. I'm like, it was just irritating me. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go on. It wasn't terrible. I gave it a 6.5, but it was just like, all right, I had enough.
You might like it a little bit more now that you know.
Yeah, I'll give it another check out.
I gave this one an 8. It opens up with the acapella part, which is cool. It's got a real cool riff. It's got the 80s cowbell mixed in there somewhere. Yeah. I think it's a fun, surprising tune. I was surprised because, like you guys, first I'm thinking is, all right, Ace, space, this, science, really? I'm like, here we go. But I was surprised at how good it was. I was like, it's a fun song. It's really a fun song for me. Okay, number 5, Walking on the Moon. Damo, what you got?
This one's got a different feel, different groove and everything from the other songs. But I don't know, something about it didn't really connect with me, and I gave it a 6.75, kind of lower than the other songs for me. But yeah, just not a bad song. I like the feel of it, but it just, I don't know, I just couldn't really get into it that much.
Yeah, Matt?
I ranked it a little higher. I had that really up near the top of my list, and I like it. It's funny because, like I said, I think on the other one, sometimes when a song comes out as a single and you kind of watch it out of the context, and this was the second single, and where you start going like, you can listen to that one kind of over and over, and maybe you get a little tired of it, but I don't know. I really like it. I think it's a great riff. I thought the video was outstanding. The whole idea of like these aliens with like alien guitars, and at the end, I had the craziest dream. And it's just like, I thought that was really inspired, and they had all the spaceships and everything. I mean, it's funny because as the second single, right off the bat, you go, okay, walking on the moon, outer space. It's like he's just trapped in that space gimmick. But I don't know. It goes back to kind of what I said on the other song. This is one of those windows down, music up. It's fun. There's nothing about it trying to tell you how to live your life, which you wouldn't want from Ace. And so I like it a lot. I think really, I like
suddenly threw that in there,
right?
Depends which lifestyle you want to live.
He had a good run a couple times.
Right.
Oh, Mike D, what you got?
I kind of like this one. I gave it a 7.5. This was like number 4 on my list. It was kind of different. It had a good, fun, groove to it.
Yeah, I gave this one a 7.75. And where I'm coming from with this one is a grower, not a shower. It really is. The first time you listen to it, you go, it's okay. Every time I listen to it, I'm like, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. And I'll tell you what it has for me. And, everybody goes, oh, you're trying to sound like this, you're trying to sound like that. This is the closest sounding vocally of the 1978 record. Even the music, it's got that slower feel. Like if you listen to like Ozone and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's really. I mean, like I said, everything's timestamped, right? So we're like, nothing's going to beat that Ace Frehley 78 record. Yeah, this one's got the same kind of sound. Maybe if Ozone came out today, we would be ranking it different, you know? So this has got that, it's got that 78 feel to me. Now, I don't or didn't notice it at first, but like I said, it's a grower. Every time you listen to it, you go, this is way better than I thought. And the video, when it first came out, I thought it was a little goofy. I think the video would have been cooler if Ace did like the Robert Palmer thing and had the alien chicks or something maybe behind him with a real guitar. I think the inflatable guitar kind of ruins.
The thing though, they look so weird that I think it would make the guitar seem too normal.
Too normal. Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like unless they had somebody make really wild looking, like they're playing literally inflatable guitars. And I think the whole idea was that it's like, well, it's supposed to look like a dream or something. If they
like weird, yeah.
How come that alien has a 56 gold top Les Paul? Like
right. I guess that makes sense now.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? Is that listen, it's crazy, but I think it's money. I don't know if this is their idea or his PR team had been working their ass off.
Yeah.
Like this is the biggest push I ever seen Ace get ever. Like even before the Frehley comments, ever. So he's all over the place right now, which is great.
He's got a social media person with him.
Well, listen, right now, I think while we're all still alive, he should do and Mike's going to cringe at this. He should do a reality show. He's money. You just follow Ace around. I'd piss myself the whole time. He needs a reality show. I think he should shop to one of these channels and get it because him walking around. You got boar's head. Like we don't boar's head. I really want some
guacamole.
The guacamole, yeah, that's got a lot of salt in it. That's no good for
organic. Gotta be organic.
I think it's money. It shows you. It's funny. I'm sure Matt has, but me and Damien both have met Ace, and I think if you don't know Ace, it's a little underwhelming. It's like, yeah, how you doing? If you know him, he's probably the greatest thing in the world. He's probably the most fun ever once he knows you. So we never had that pleasure to have it. I don't know. What was your thing? When you ever meet Ace?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I met Ace a bunch of times. In fact, you guys all remember the Cell Block?
Yes.
So the Cell Block, at the time of the Rock Soldiers, I actually had one of the VIP laminate where you could go back. And at the time, so that's 1989 or probably 91 or 2 or something like that. And I remember I didn't have anything even for him to sign because he had just played. And I walked by and he's all tired. And like, I just say, hey, look, I just came back to say hello. And he kind of looks at me. He goes, hello. And that's, you shake his hand. That was it. But I mean, he was actually the first one that I have a Kiss comic book signed by all four, and I got that signed by him. But again, it's every interaction is always very fast.
Yeah.
And hello, boom, you're done. And probably the last time I met him was at the New Jersey Kiss Expo, and I guess that's 2018. And I had that giant what I call the Motco poster because it has that date that I talked about at the start, and it was signed by all four. It was Gene and Paul and Peter, and I just need Ace. And I'm waiting in line. And his only real, where do you want me to sign it?
It's like not even like, where'd you get this at? What is this?
Like nothing, and it's funny because I always say autographs are meaninglessly if you don't get it yourself, because it has to have some story with it.
Yes.
And that poster, each autograph has some kind of fun story with it, like what they said about it or what, but where do you want me to sign it? Okay, boom, you're done. You're done. And it's just like, you're crazy. Out. And it's just, and I think some people have met him over the years. So the problem is from so many years of loud music, he can't hear. Yeah. So like, he can't, if you say, oh, Ace, you're my God. He can't hear you. It's funny, that Cell Block one, I'll never forget, there was this kid in front of me, like a younger kid, losing his marbles. I mean, crying and shaking, and he wanted to sign the solo album. And Ace is almost kind of like, and look, it's okay. But I mean, like this kid was like literally just coming apart. And so, yeah, I've only ever had really kind of quick interactions, with Ace. But always pleasant. He's never unpleasant, but but you don't get a lot out of him.
Yeah. My interaction was the first time I tried to meet him was at he was playing, oh my God, it was the Trouble Walking tour, and it wasn't the Cell Block, it was something cabaret, Chestnut Cabaret.
Just a cabaret.
Yeah. And we were out there because back in the day we would hang out all the time. So we were out there, me and a couple of my buddies, and we were hanging out with Bear, who was their road guy, right? Was he the driver, maybe? Big dude.
I don't know.
He was, I think he was the driver, and we, somebody went out and got picks. They needed picks or something, so we went out and got some extra picks or whatever. Talked to Richie Scarlett, who was awesome. He was really, really cool that day. Ace came up, and we tried to get something from Ace. Ace was like, "I need a penicillin shot. I don't feel too good." And I was like, I think he's used that line a lot.
Now, do you remember at that that Chestnut Cabaret show? Do you remember a big ugly dude jumping on stage during Detroit Rock City and singing the second line and then getting tossed into the
No, I don't remember.
That was me. And the funny thing was, you figure it gets to the end, and here's Detroit Rock City, and you figure that stage was so small, and I decide this is the exact right minute that I should climb up on stage and sing, the second lines of Detroit. And I'll never forget. I look over, and Richie Scarlett is looking at me like, go ahead, dude, go ahead. And Ace is looking at me like, kind of like, where did you come from? Because I just literally climbed up on stage, and I sing the second two lines. And then literally I remember these arms come around behind me. And I've never been little, but this guy picks me up, walks to the edge of the stage, and just shoots me off into space. I was having trouble walking. And it was like, literally, I'm just flying off the stage. Luckily, with the skills of a cat, I land on my feet, and all my friends were like, "Oh my God, what were you doing?" I'm like, I don't know.
Oh my God, that's great. Yeah, that's good.
I wish there was video of that.
There's got to be something.
There's got to be something somewhere.
I've never been able to find it, and I know a lot of people that used to sneak cameras into everywhere, but it was also late in the show, so everybody's battery is probably dead. But nobody had a phone back then or anything like that. And I remember, and my one friend had been way in the back, and he says, we all looked up and we were like, what are you doing out there?
See, that's Sal. It all goes hand in hand, right? That's a story, right? That came out of nowhere. It's great. The Chestnut Cabaret. I was working for Strawberries Records at the time, so I got passes or something to go, like bullshit passes, just to go to the show. But that's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Going on to our number 4, Up in the Sky. What you got, Damo?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones on the record. I think one of the probably like my third favorite song, I think. The music, the intro I like because it kind of starts out almost like New York Groove a little bit.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like for a split second. And then the pre-chorus, like it's got like almost like a Skid Row kind of like
damn, dude.
funky business riff,
right? Are you reading my notes here?
But yeah, I think even vocally and the song as a whole is really, really solid tune.
Cool. What you got, Matt?
It's funny. I was surprised when I saw that all of you had ranked it higher. I ranked it somewhere around a 5.
Yeah.
At first it didn't catch me, but I think the problem is, I think as I go through this whole record, I'm going to think of that Shower and Grower line.
Yeah.
And listen to this a bunch, like at least 2 or 3 times a day, because I had gotten the album and just went through it a couple times. I mean, I love that line where he says, you can't trust the news, you can't trust the law. Again, it feels current, kind of up to date with the way people are thinking. But I really like the idea. He never quite says that he's talking about a UFO, but I think he's talking about UFOs because he says, are we alone? But then at one point he says something about the planets, and that's the way God intended them. And you go, is he talking about what's up there? Like is there, and I thought it almost felt like it grew on me deeper, the idea that he's really questioning like kind of existence, like where is everything? And that, as I listened to it more, I liked it more. So, I mean, it's funny, when I made my list the other day, I knew I ranked it lower, but the more I listened to it, this is definitely one that started to emerge where you go, Grower.
That might be the title of this show. The new Ace record. It's a grower, not a shower.
Well, one of my friends actually said the same thing we were talking about today. He says, at first, some of the songs I just didn't like as much that are now my favorite songs. And you
Yeah.
go like, and even what Damien had said about certain things where you kind of hear, maybe a little bit of monkey business or whatever. And it's funny how like little pieces of stuff almost like get in your head and it does kind of attach it to that. But yeah, it's funny that, like I said, I scored it a middle of the road, but then now I probably would have given it a higher grade.
Yep. What you got, Mike?
Yeah, I had pretty much what Damien said. Kind of reminded me like Skid Row, like a monkey business feel to like the music in it. But yeah, I mean, hey, songs about aliens is a fun song.
Yep. I
At
love the
least
lyric
now I
content.
thought it was about aliens. Now,
UFOs.
now
UFOs,
Matt's
yeah.
changing my whole view on it.
See, that's what I mean. It's a grower.
It's deep.
Yeah, the lyrics are deep for Ace, I think.
Yeah.
It's almost like, writing a book, and Ace is probably telling Steve, this is the idea I got. Can you make sense out of it? And Steve probably making sense out of it.
Yeah, I gave this one an 8. Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
gave
like
it pretty
one.
high. I gave it a 7.5. Straight ahead rocker tune, cool lyrics. The guitar works really good on it. I think the guitar, that was my main note. The guitar was really, really good. Coming in at number 3, I was pretty pleasant with this one. Cosmic Heart. What do you got, Damo?
Yeah, it's a cool song. One takeaway that I thought was really cool is that they incorporated part of Ace's guitar solo that he always did in Kiss, the effect, that octave effect. And that was cool. That, I mean, he didn't invent that effect. We know that, but
Well, he invented tapping. That's
right. Of course,
yeah.
But to have that part of his solo, that sound, that octave sound, be part of a song, I thought was kind of cool. And I like the chorus. It's, it just, the song sounds different than the rest of the record. It sticks out, and it's, it's good. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Cool. Matt?
I agree with that like I'm not a guitar player, so I don't know what that sound is, but that like wow, that you hit it right on the head, Damien.
Yeah.
There's something that right away feels very 70s Ace.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the song itself was maybe a little more plodding along than I would have liked, and I didn't score it quite as high. I love that cool spacey kind of intro. Like you listen to it, it's kind of like where you're like, wow, where are we going here? Which I thought was really good. So it's not one that I would put at the top, but yeah, certainly there was interesting pieces of it.
Yep.
It's also really current sounding too. Like,
right.
Yes.
Like, what's his name from Jack White? Sounds like something
Stripes,
like something that he would utilize, or something like that, like a current artist, with that type of, like the whole intro to the song reminded me of Ace, but like, oh yeah, this guy, you could tell he was influenced by Ace, but it's actually Ace doing himself, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep. Mike D.
Maybe that's why I liked it so much. It kind of reminded me of like the old kind of Kiss stuff then. But this was interchangeably number 1. I gave it an 8. And that, like you said, Matt, that beginning of it, like, oh, where's it going from here? But I didn't think it disappointed. I think it was one of the top tracks on the album.
Yep. I gave Cosmic Heart an 8.4. This is a good one. I love the riff. My ears went up when this came on. I was like, oh, what's that? So I perked up a little bit. It's got a cool vibe, a really good pre-chorus, and put it this way, to me, this would be if Ace Frehley was in Kiss at the Revenge era, this is the tune that would have made it on the Revenge, Revenge album for Ace. It reminds me of, Revenge Ace, it would be, this is the song that he would have put on there. He only would have probably gave him 1, but this would have been the one. Yeah, Cosmic Heart. I didn't expect, because I listened to a bunch of reviews before we did our thing, and before I rated it, and I'm like, okay, and everybody's kind of like wishy-washy, right? Some stuff they liked, some stuff they didn't, and everybody was so different on a lot of it. And I was like, this song's really good. This could be a revenge song, Okay, so moving on to number 2. This is the one everybody's talking about. Fighting for Your Life. What you got, Damo? Fighting for Life.
I mean, talking about revenge songs, if Ace was in the band, I mean, I could definitely hear this as an Ace song on Revenge. Fighting for Life. It's heavy, it's up tempo, and I think it's probably got to be one of his best guitar solos in a long time. I mean, that's a killer guitar. So a lot of Ace-isms in there. Anything you love as Ace as a guitar player is in this particular song solo. But yeah, the song is great, man. I mean, I love the music and everything about it. I gave it a 8.25. It's my favorite one on the record.
Nice, Matt.
It's funny. I scored it probably a point lower only because of the fact that he's singing about somebody named Johnny. I don't want to hear, you know what I mean? Like if the line was when he says in the song, he says something, he grabbed his guitar and he's gone. I want to hear I'm gone.
Yeah.
I want to hear him singing about himself.
Yeah.
To me, this is like right out of the Frehley's Comet era. Like,
oh
you
my
can
God,
totally hear that.
Matt,
Is that
wait
your
till I
note?
give you my thing on there. Oh my God.
To me, this. If he had put this out on like the first or second Comet album, this would have been gigantic. And the funny thing is that, like, even a lot of that stuff right away, I'm thinking this, like you talked about, that other song was from a soundtrack. Imagine this in some 80s movie. This is a driving sequence. This will, and again, I go back to, I always kind of recycle the same thing. In the middle of the summer, you got the windows down, man, you're driving fast listening to this song. Like, this is one of those songs that, like, the energy is so there. Like you said, the solo is so on point, but that's the only tweak. If we could just tweak it a little bit, I wish he was singing it in the first person.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, this is the one that I think a lot of people have gravitated to, and for good reason. It sneaks out because it wasn't a single, but it's heavy as hell and just boom, like right where you want it to be.
Yep. Mike D.
I gave this a 6.5.
Really?
And
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really do it for me. I didn't hate it. I have in my notes good generic montage music.
Right. It's that montage, right?
Montage.
You should be driving or getting ready to fight.
Right. Like,
God.
I picture like an 80s movie with like some kung fu scenes and
Yeah, he was
punching bags and, somebody like lifting concrete slabs or whatever.
Oh man, I gave this an 8.25. This is the song everybody is buzzing about, off the record. It's a real good rocker. It's crazy that Matt said it. I put it's if is like Ace created Frehley's Comet 2.0. It's exactly what I put on my notes. I was like, I can't believe you just said that. It's a good tune. It's got power. It works. It works. If this was released, like you said, in 84, 83, something like that, it would have been huge because everything was like that, right? Everything was go.
Some of the stuff, when you think of Frehley's Comet, imagine if in the background vocals on those chorus, you fold in Todd Howarth or Richie Scarlett. This song would have been even more amazing. I think everybody's loving it already, but if you had Todd singing a higher part on that, would have been money.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple people say, well, wouldn't it be great if he got back and did stuff with Richie? And Richie's got a new album coming out, which I've heard little bits of, sounds amazing. But if Todd Howarth were singing with him on the chorus, this would have been insane.
Yeah, Todd Howarth is so good.
Super talented.
Is he Perfect Circle?
No. Todd Howarth wanted playing with. Did he play with Cheap Trick after a while or no?
He actually played keyboards off stage with Cheap Trick for a long time. Like, he was hidden. But I mean, you figure he has his own music. He had a band called 4 by Fate, which was him and John Reagan and Rob Affuso and Pat Gasparini, I think, was the fourth member of that. And killer stuff. And Todd has like 3 other solo albums that he put out about a year ago. Really super talented guy. But that's the one. This is the one song where I thought, you know what? I wish somebody had called him and got him to come in and do some background vocals with that.
Of course, like Todd's voice is amazing and great, but I think Todd's voice works when you have it against somebody else that don't sing like Todd.
Right.
And that's where I think the Frehley's Comet stuff really worked because the vocals were so far apart, but it worked together. It worked. Todd was almost like too good, right? So it's like I tell Damien all the time, there's so many singers out here that are great, like Miles Kennedy. Unbelievable singer. Guess what? After 3 songs, I don't really want to hear any more than 3.
Right.
It's not that he's not great. He's great. It's just that tone. It's just after a while, you're like, okay, I need a little diversity, And Todd, I think Ace kind of leveled Todd out a little bit, and vice versa, where it's just like you're not getting that one dynamic where it starts to sound kind of your ear gets in a certain spot and kind of stays. that would throw it the other way a little bit. So, which I think is key to everything, you know? So
Yeah.
it's not the same thing. Because there's a lot of good tunes that get lost because it kind of starts sounding the same a little bit. So when you have somebody that's two opposite ends, it really works, you know? Okay, number one. It's funny because none of us picked this as our number one song. just the way the average worked out.
It was
None
just
of us picked this as a
consistently
number one
higher.
song.
Yeah,
But we all put it pretty high. So 10,000 volts comes in at number one. What you got, Demo?
Yeah, it's I mean, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Probably should have gave it a little bit higher thinking about it. I mean, it is probably the best song on the record. I mean, it's definitely the most memorable, I think. You know, most Ace-like. Just a, you know, great song, and definitely like the obvious choice for the first single.
Yeah, I think they would go with that. That was the right move. That was the right move. Matt?
Yeah, right. The same with Damien. I had given this a 8. Now, oddly enough, I gave Back Into My Arms the only 9. So, I mean, average wise, this was certainly going to be up near the top. Obviously, She Shocked Me, like 10,000 volts, shock me. We get that reference. Yeah. He's in space. So he's like folding in every good reference that he can. The riff is fantastic. This is another one that even when this was the first one that leaked out as a video, like, windows down, music up. This is one that you air guitar to instantly.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's whoever decided this should be the first single, and even the name of the album, I thought absolutely perfect idea.
Yeah.
And you can get the air guitar in Monaco Radio.
If you download the Kiss Room, it comes with an air guitar. It's whatever style you want. You can decide. There's only 8 billion variations, so you pick which one you want.
That's right. I say this. Anything you want. We have flying V's. We have everything.
Right. It comes right to you. That's what we're talking about. Technology. Let's say you get your guitar right through your internet. So
I love it. Mike D.
Yeah, I gave this a 7. I probably should have gave this an 8. It's a big track, man. And it might be the best off the album. I listened to it again right before we did our podcast. I'm like, wow, this is just a killer song.
It's a grower.
Right, it's another grower, man. Yeah,
there's a lot of growers on the record.
I gave it a 7. I probably could have gave it an 8, maybe an 8.5, but hey, it is what it is.
Yep, I gave it an 8.5. Like I said, it's funny that none of us ranked this as 1, but we all gave it a really high score.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's solid. It's just a solid, good song. A good song's a good song. The video was cool, kind of plain straightforward. It's Ace doing what he does. I loved it. I really did. Overall, getting all our scores together, Ace got a 7. 7 out of 10 is pretty damn good. Really good. So the new Ace record, yeah, we ranked it pretty good. My overall, if we want to give a little quick synopsis real quick on the overall thing, I think Steve Brown did a great job. I hope they do another one soon. I don't need another Ace Origins record. I think he gets together with Steve Brown maybe next year and puts out another one, 1.5 years, and that would be great. I think Steve must have worked great with him. He really, I think, got a lot of cool stuff out of Ace, and they probably work well together going back and forth. Sometimes as musicians and stuff like that, when you're a writer and you write a lot of stuff by yourself, you're in your box, right? If I write with, say me and Anthony got together tomorrow, I'm going to come up with stuff that I never even thought of because your mind works differently. So sometimes when you mix in, not too many, but when you mix in a couple things, and there's not too many chefs in the pot, you get something really neat that's out of your box. And that's the part I love about writing songs. So I hear that on here. I hear that him and Steve probably like, oh, yeah, it's a great idea. Let me try. Oh, yeah, we could do something with that. So I wish I could see some of that footage because it's probably was like guys hanging out and just going back and forth. We could try this. No, we could try that. I think you could get a higher note on that, So it's probably a lot of cool stuff like that. So, yeah, I definitely feel that on this record. And like I said, it's a grower, not a shower. My favorite Ace record since Trouble Walking, maybe even better than Trouble Walking, to be honest with you, because I listened to this, I can't believe how many times in a row. Damo, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much gave my thoughts before we started it. That the only negative really was that I just didn't like the effects or whether it's
too little, too perfect, trying
whatever.
to be too perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish the vocals were a little more raw sounding and not so like up front in your face that kind of like where laid in the mix, I guess.
Well, that's the problem though, Dame. The problem with all the guys who mix now, If you notice, a lot of guys in the
That's just how they
80s,
do it.
you
yeah.
were mixed. They used to call it the David Lee Roth mix. You were mixed a little lower in the mixed, right?
Mhm.
Because depending how you sing, I mean, a guy like me, you want to put almost like an instrument. You want to put him lower in the mix, not so high. If you're Mariah
Yeah.
Carey, you want to fucking yank her up. There's a difference in
Mm-hmm.
characterization. Some people could sing great. Some people are more of a character singer, right? So it's all in the mix. But and it all goes through, like a couple years ago was the brick wall sound. Everything was brick wall. And it was just too much, right? So it goes through phases. The 80s had a lot of reverb. So now the big thing is that in the last couple of years, they take the pop approach, which is the vocals. They want to feel like you're sitting on your lap kind of deal.
Yeah.
And for certain singers, it's too fucking loud. I don't want to hear James Hetfield too loud. I want to hear him in the mix, So it's preference, but it's just a stylistic thing, I think, that goes through with changes, This new techniques. Oh, we could try this. And this is current sounding. Fuck current, as long as it's good. Wherever you fit,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
fit,
yeah, I mean, that was my only thing. Other than that, I mean, I'm really happy that that he's still putting out music. I mean, he's really like the past. When did Anomaly come out? 2008 or something, or 2009?
He's worked harder now
He's
than
really
probably forever.
Yeah, he's really created like a nice body of work. Aside from his stuff in Kiss, and then he had the Frehley's Comet stuff, and he's got his life back on track, and the towards the end of his career, he's really putting out some good quality stuff, and we're fortunate to still have that.
Yeah, well, he didn't.
know,
You figure, when was Trouble Walking? 89-ish, 88, 89, something like that.
Yeah.
So
89,
in between that until Anomaly, oh my God, that's
20 years.
That's a lifetime, right?
That's 20 years. Yeah.
20 years in between, and then now he's banging
Wow.
out stuff quick, and now he's banging out what? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records in the last X amount of years. That's a lot for
Yeah,
Ace.
you got the 2 cover records, and what was it?
Anomaly.
3 or 4 maybe.
Anomaly, Space Invader. What was the last one? Space Ace, Space Ace,
What
maybe
Bronx Boy? Which one was
Space Ace, I think it was. And then the new one. So yeah, I mean, that's 6 records or something like that in the last.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty damn good. Matt, what's
Yeah.
your overall synopsis?
Yeah, I think the fact that it's 2024 and we're getting a new album from Ace, and I think it's funny because a lot of time, and I started off talking about the history of being a Kiss fan since I'm 8 years old. The fact that you can still get a new, look, it's the Kiss family. It's a new Kiss album, you know what I mean? But it's 2024, and the fact that you really, I always think, how did we become old people? Like I'm 56. Ace is 71 years old or whatever. And you go, at some point, and if you listen to the latest Kiss Room, and, with my brother, we were making the joke, what do you sing about when you're 70? You're like, I got new compression socks, you know what I mean? It's like, I have some Metamucil. Like, he can't sing about partying because he's sober. He's singing about a girl because he's got a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's not singing about banging every chick, what do you sing about? If you think about the 78 solo album, half that album is drug abuse. He's snowblind, or he's drinking too much. Now we're switched to rum or whatever. I mean, and it's a different time. He was 20 something years old now, and somehow he's stayed youthful, and somehow so have we. But it just comes down to, I think there's great little references to everything that he's done in the past, but I think, as we talked about, there's some new, bringing Steve Brown in brings new blood and maybe a new way to look at it. Again, and maybe it's why I thought Back Into My Arms Again so high, was there's a certain nostalgia with me that carries into all this stuff. So like when you hear it, you remember it. But I was really surprised pleasantly with how great this all sounded. I think it's a really fun album. There's certainly not really any moment where he's complaining, about his life, which, I mean, everybody, if you want to feel bad, that's easy. Feeling better, I look at always a new song as 3 minutes of a shot of something to make you feel better about yourself. And if you get one of these songs where they're moping and that's easy. I want you to make me shock me and make me feel better.
I mean, the hardest part with writing, to be honest with you, like for somebody like me, is that it's hard to write the happy song. It really is, the happy song, because you don't want to go over that line of cheese, but you need some cheese to be happy, right? So that's the hardest thing. Like, I always go a little bit towards the opposite way, because it's easy. It's definitely, lyrically, it's easier to write. It's hard to say, I want to get up and have a good day, and without you got to really think it out, you know.
Yeah, then you
So-
sound like the B-52s.
Right,
Well, like
right,
she
right.
hit me with 10,000 volts. You know, he's in a good relationship.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing I like is that he's feeling great about this girl. She shocked me and she makes me feel great. And, you know, whatever cherry medicine really refers
Yeah.
to, clearly refers to that she looks great in black leather. I think everybody can appreciate that. You know, it's
Yeah.
just so the theme throughout the album is I think he's in a really good place. And I appreciate that. And I feel like, you know, even you have to kind of maybe apply it to your own life. I don't really want a song like, you know, if I wanted Pantera, you know, well, look at you, walk, you know, you respect me, boy. You know, I love that song, but I try not to be in that bad of a mood all the time.
Right. You can't be you can't be. That's why music's great, is that you have to listen. And as we get older, we all branch out and listen to stuff that we never listened to when we were younger.
Right.
We go back to it, like you said earlier. We go back. We all do that, and you appreciate it so much more now because you can't be miserable or happy or whatever. It's all a roller coaster, right? One day you're in a good mood, one day you're not. It's what mood you're in. So music depends on the mood sometimes. You know.
Absolutely.
Love Alice in Chains. Mike quotes this all the time. Love Alice in Chains. You listen to Alice in Chains for 2 hours, you're fucking a little down. And I love them.
Yeah,
You know?
you got to throw something on it, like happy after that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it's just
you can't
it's
say,
just
"Hey,
the
let me
way it
go.
is.
Let me go listen to some Mad Season now."
Yeah. Then it's like, boy, you're fucking doomy and gloomy. You know, hey, I love that stuff, but still can't do it all the time. Sometimes,
Right.
you know, you got to just, you know, rip it out
Right.
or whatever, you know. Mike D, synopsis.
I enjoyed it. I got to say, I probably it's probably blasphemy, but I probably enjoyed this more than most Kiss albums.
Okay, that's
Wow.
But I'm not like the hugest Kiss fan. Like, I don't hate them. I respect them, and they definitely, I believe they definitely have their place. But really, not a lot of it's not my thing. Like, I kind of, by the time I got into Kiss, it was like smashes, thrashes, and hits era.
Oh yeah, it's late. Yeah,
So yeah, I kind of missed the
Nothing wrong
boat
with
on
that.
Kiss. Yeah,
you're right at the you make me rock hard and let's put the extra six. You were prime. You were in the prime of it.
but
My
I bought
favorite
it because
song.
like I didn't have much. It was a greatest hits, and so that was like a good introduction for me. But like, I don't know, it just as a whole, like, you know, I could probably find a good 30 Kiss songs I like, but just album wise, like it's tough for me. But this, I could go back and probably listen to this and not be annoyed.
Yep. I think they're. It's funny how like a lot of people go like, I think they're overrated, you know, because they're everywhere. I actually think they're underrated. I really do. I think they're underrated. I think they should get more. Their fan base is incredible, but I think musician wise, they're so much better than people know. Like Gene Simmons is a great bass player. I really think he's a great. You listen to the first couple records. Oh my god,
They didn't get much radio airplay either.
No,
You know,
not back
They
then.
weren't- they
No,
weren't
No.
a radio band.
Yeah.
no. I mean, they were lucky to get a little bit of that MTV stuff, like near Asylum and stuff like that. You know, Heaven's on Fire before that, and on Animalized.
MTV is hysterical because you figure you had the most visual band in history. MTV ignored them till they took the makeup off. You go, here's the greatest gimmick in rock history. Oh, wait, lose it.
Yeah.
And now we'll talk to you. This
So
is
weird.
a really big moment. You know, JJ Jackson.
yeah.
But even now think about that, and that's why I thought it was funny. We started the show. Damien's talking about finding him in like '85 and thinking it's a whole other band because how would you know? You know, like that's the funny thing. As a kid, you know, like if you got in at Lick It Up and then all of a sudden you find like, whoa, what is all this stuff? And I mean,
Yeah.
even in that era, the fact that between like 70, 73, 74, 75, about that 10-year span, all those albums that Kiss put out, that now you could go back and be like, what is going on here? And, and that's the funny thing is, I think that's why it's so much fun talking to other Kiss fans about when they jumped on and how they experience certain things, because we maybe experienced it one way and then somebody else went back and found it another way, and I find that fascinating.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I said, I can't even tell you when I got into them. They're the first band I ever remember liking. I don't remember anything. I don't know how I got into them. They were the first band I ever liked. And you always heard the crazy rumors. Oh, Gene Simmons vomits on stage. He busted a vein, or like there was a crazy rumors, And when you're a kid, it's like
he has a cow tongue sewed on there.
Yeah. It's like when you were a kid, you heard all that crazy stuff, which made you kind of scared. Like I have behind me, I have the Unmasked poster, and it was up on my wall. I was scared of that poster. I don't know why, but I was scared of it. But it was on my wall. You know what I mean? It's like
I love
bizarre
that.
stuff. But when you're a kid, your imagination runs wild, right? It's like Ozzy. Back in the day, you were like, oh, you put Ozzy and you're like it's something bad, like it's scary. Now it's like whatever,
It's a
but
horror movie. Yeah.
yeah.
When you think of like Blizzard of Oz, like where has like it looks like a zombie or something, like with all that makeup, or even like or no, like Diary of a Madman.
Yeah.
Blizzard of Oz, where he's got that cross and he looks like a vampire or whatever. And that's the thing. At that time, he did look pretty scary.
Yeah.
Like there was a certain vibe about it.
Like
back when
I
PR
remember
was great.
I remember like going to the supermarket and I'd look at the record section, I'd see the Ozzy albums, and I was a little kid. I must have been, about 10 years old. I'm like, what the fuck does this sound like?
Right.
Yeah.
So and then you hear it like later on, you're like, it doesn't sound as bad as I thought it would sound.
All right, so I want to have a couple more questions for Matt before we wrap up here. Matt, I got to say, honestly, one of the most fun episodes I think we've ever done. I mean, I'm having I could talk to you for another 8 hours probably. You know what I mean? It's so good to really have you on.
Hopefully somebody's still listening.
Yeah, they will have a connection with Anthony, with your brother, which is great that, it's full circle again. We all kind of know each other loosely, right? If not. So really great having you on.
Thank you.
And definitely in the Kiss world, you're known as one of the Kiss aficionados. How do you say it? Aficionados? Is that the aficionados. Yeah, one of those guys. It sounds good, though. It sounds special.
I have a large pizza with extra aficionados.
Yeah. So let me know, before we go into some of these stupid questions, let me know when your next show is going to be in the Kiss Room. At this juncture, where are you?
At this juncture, we're every second Friday of the month. So it'll be March 8th. Which I can't wait. I actually have a guest coming on to talk about a new album from a band called New York Fury, which is a band that was, I guess, really big in the 80s and has come back in 2023. I named it my favorite record of 2023 was a album called I Want It All. It's classic, like 80s metal, and Gene Hunter will be the guest in our March episode, and we're going to play an exclusive new song from New York Fury from their new album for 2024. So I'm super excited about it. It's like it's throwback kind of to those really big arena rock kind of days. Supertown, they got a singer with a great voice. They're all really talented. They write really good songs that are super solid. So that's where the Kiss Room's at. Like I said, by the end of May, we'll have finished, I guess is it 13 years or something like that?
Wow.
Or, so it's I'm not good at math. My own history. I don't know my own history.
That's awesome, man. So so I'm just going to blast you with a couple quick questions. First Kiss record you ever bought?
I remember it being Rock and Roll Over, because I remember I Want You was one that I think was the first one that I can remember dropping the needle on. So I remember hearing Destroyer on the I heard Beth on the radio and things like that, but I'm almost positive that it was Rock and Roll Over, and it was because that cover is like mind blowing. But it was that summer really that we started really listening to Kiss, and then Rock and Roll Over I think came out in September, so that I'm almost positive it's Rock and Roll Over.
Okay, here I'm sure this could be interchangeable or maybe not. Favorite Kiss record?
What's funny is that really always kind of changes. It used to be Rock and Roll Over, but lately, probably the last couple of years, it's been Destroyer. And I'll tell you why, because Destroyer is my go-to CD changer number one. It never leaves, because and this is the thing, and I almost hate to admit it, but Detroit Rock City is like my mantra song. When you get out of work and you had a really kind of a crap day, if you hit play as you're backing out of the parking lot, you hear all those sound effects that lead up to it. I go down the hill. By the time I get to the exit of my work, you get the guitars and the whole idea. I hear my song. I hear
it's like a movie.
And it energizes me so much. And it's funny because everybody always says, well, what's your favorite song? But like, Detroit Rock City to me is like perfection. And like when they're doing the double lead guitars and everything, and when you think about that's Paul's voice at a time when just Paul's voice is the greatest voice in rock. And so I don't know, like you can go, there's certainly not a bad song on the album, but I mean, I'm always like, look, I've always been a fan, but I'm kind of originals first, everything else. It's those first bunch of albums, and really the last couple of years it's been Destroyer.
Cool, cool. All right, here goes maybe a tough one. A live one or a live two?
Alive One for sure. It's funny. That was one that I remember getting that and just being like this was unbelievable. I mean, and it's funny that probably ranks up there as one that I listen to the most because it's again, I have those in my car and they're pretty regularly discs 2 or 3, and it's funny because even that, just talking about the Kiss Room, but 2015 we had a Kiss tribute band come in called Alive 75, and they brought with
they're
them as
great.
part of their
Yeah.
show, they brought J.R. Smalling to Montco.
Wow.
And it was May 2015. I have them all in the studio. And at the end, JR says, and I have this recording, he says, "You wanted the best, you got the best. The hottest man in the world, Matt Porter." And that's literally
awesome.
my ringtone when I wake up in the morning. And it's like you can't find a better way to wake yourself up than here's the hottest man in the world.
Positive. It's all
That's
positive.
right, JR. I'm feeling it. And it just, and that has always like, so then when, like, I always tell everybody, like when you think about that, dropping the needle on Alive, and then that voice comes on, and then it's the greatest album. I mean, that ranks up of my favorite Kiss albums, really, because it's really a greatest hits of those first 3 albums. And people can argue, well, it was, we did it in the studio or whatever. I don't care. I love it.
Yeah,
It
doesn't
really,
matter.
what I would love is, I mean, obviously, as everything's going to at some point creep up on a 50th anniversary, a box set for Alive, but give us the raw recordings of those shows. Give
Yeah.
us the material that they made that from.
Yeah.
I want all that. I mean, I think I have some of them, but I would love that. And I mean, it's funny, that would be one that in Dolby Atmos, imagine them expanding like the crowd and everything. I mean, that would be a dream come true if they really
Mhm.
give us a super, super package for the Alive 50th anniversary.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you: has there ever been a Kiss fan that says The Elder's my favorite album?
You find people from time to time that is, because that was their jumping off point. I can't think in my mind, like I'm rolling through my Rolodex of fans that I know. I don't know that I can't think to tell you, well, it's Mike, he's the one that loves that. But I mean, it's funny because even that goes back to talking about when it came out. I remember getting that at the Richland Mall. And at the time, though, think about it, everybody was like, that whole album is kind of like this fantasy vibe. So that's like, I'm like 12 or whatever at the time. That's right in my wheelhouse. I'm drawing, swords and superheroes.
Yeah.
Every picture has a woman in like what looks like a bikini being saved from a dragon. I'm a kid. That's what you figure that's what I was into. So in my mind, or like, if you think about it when they're doing that, loneliness will haunt you, right? I always pictured it looked like the from Superman, the first one where the big faces are up on the wall, and in my mind there was this whole story of like it's a sword and sorcery, like think about, you have like the Conan movies and all that, so that was like right in my wheelhouse. And I mean, it just right, and look, right there, you nailed it. Okay, there's, if you have to think about Tanya Roberts in her little loincloth, let's all think about that for
It's all
30
good
seconds.
stuff.
That's all you need. So it's really, you hit it right on the head. That's a great example.
Yes,
Oh,
Beastmaster is a great movie.
Right. So that's the Elder to me. And I mean, really, it's funny because that's again, if somebody handed you a stack of all the Kiss albums and that's right in the middle, it's different. But when we got it when it came out, look, this is just the new Kiss album, and it's got like stuff like The Oath and which I think I is one of the greatest songs that they have because it's so affirming, and even for them at that time to say, I don't need to get wasted, it only holds me down. You say that you got to have some balls to put that out in an age when it was all sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but Gene was sticking to his clear-headedness. All I need's a will of my own and the balls to stand alone. Boy, that's the kind of stuff. You got all the tattoos, Mike. You could have that right on your arm. But it's really.
I only got one.
It really, like when you think about that, is like as a kid, like that age, I really needed that. I thought that was fantastic. Like so. Elder, lots of love for the Elder from me. So.
Yep. Okay, got two more for you. Favorite Frehley's Comet tune?
Man, that's a good one. You know what's funny is I mean, it might seem like the generic go-to, but I always thought Rock Soldiers, just the fact that again, we had not seen or heard from Ace really, and he's coming back defiant. You know, rock soldiers come, rock soldiers go. That's about his life. Like that whole idea of coming back and that video, and he's got the smoking guitar even in the video. I think that's a standout, even though it would probably be almost synonymous with everything with Frehley's Comet because it was the first single and it was. But I saw the first time I saw Ace live out of in Frehley's Comet, they were opening for Cinderella at the Allentown Fairgrounds. So it's outside, it's still light. And he comes walking out. I'm pretty sure he had the blue, like that blue jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And they start that thwomp, 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 like rock. I don't think it was the first song, but I remember Rock Soldiers just pop in the crowd. And to me, that's always a go-to. And even I think a lot of that first album, even Into the Night, because it was on MTV all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and you were thrilled to see Ace. Ace really was back, and he told you so. And I really,
yeah.
those I like Insane a lot. Nothing matters if you're insane.
Great song. I like that song.
That comes right to my mind. But yeah, Rock Soldiers, that's kind of a slam dunk for me.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, last question. Kiss tune you wish made a record that never made a record.
The one that it has been officially released was It's My Life. It came out in the box set.
I was just thinking of that.
Think about the Wendy O. Williams version, and her version is better than anyone else. King Cobra's done it. And obviously the Kiss one came out on that 2001 box set. You listen to the Wendy O version, which depending on, I don't know that they've ever really discussed it, but those were Kiss tracks that they weren't going to use, and Gene just took them on. That's why Paul, Eric Carr, Ace, everybody's on her solo album, the Wendy O. Williams WOW album.
The Kiss album, that wasn't a Kiss album. Yeah.
You got it. And when she is doing that song, she's not telling you she's not asking you, she's telling you.
Yeah.
I'm shouting it from the roof and face up to the truth. Basically, the biggest middle fingers. It's my life, and I'll do what I want. And her defiance and her power. And I always say, if we had gotten Gene snarling those lyrics in Creatures of the Night voice,
yeah,
man, that would have been the biggest song for Kiss. It's almost too toned down when they did it with Kiss. And it's nice because Ace sings a line and they trade back and forth on the vocals.
Right.
But that Wendy O. Williams version is one of the greatest rock songs ever, I think, because it is absolutely the most powerful. I'm going to do exactly what I want. And boy, if we can all subscribe to that. So that's the one that comes to my mind right away. Talking about Ace, there's an Ace song that has floated around for a long time called Audio Video that I wish he would do that. I wish that would come back. Some people call it Catch Me If I Fall. Audio Video. I'm rapping on a talk show, telling everybody how great I feel. It's like, and it's again, I probably have it 2 or 3 times on cassettes in different boxes, and that's one I wish would come back. But yeah, It's My Life. That Wendy O. Williams, that album has so much great stuff on it that you always kind of say, man, if Kiss had released this instead of The Elder, like where would that? Because it's that same era. And she's in that video being strong and crashing cars and blowing up buses. And in a way, I think Kiss was almost trapped a little bit by the image because you couldn't have them running around like she's wrestling people. like they couldn't have done that. You know what I mean? They were almost being swallowed up by their larger than life images. She's there in that leather bikini with the fist in the air that basically, look, F everyone. And it's so tragic how she ended her life, but that album I think is a standout. I think it's one of the greatest, probably most overlooked rock albums of all time, I think. So those are definitely ones that should have maybe gotten better treatment over the years.
Yep. Awesome. Matt, thank you so much for coming on, man.
My pleasure. Sure.
Yeah, thanks,
I
man.
loved it. You
Thanks,
guys are great.
You too, man. Looking forward to the Kiss Room. It's every third?
Every second Friday.
Second Friday.
So that way, look, at 3 o'clock on that Friday, you can cut out of work early. Your boss called and said that you can, and you heard it here on the internet, so it must be true. So it's one of those things where you put your feet up. We talk in the chat room with people. Sometimes I have people call in if depending on what's going on that month. But that's there's really nothing more fun than being live, and being on there, and your phone starts to go, people start to react to what you're saying. They put the stuff into Facebook. So yeah, every second Friday. May, like I said, when we get to May 10th is a Friday. That'll be the Kiss Room. I might do a May 11th special on a Saturday just because it's the 50th anniversary of when Kiss should have been at Montco. And then we'll see where it goes, like end of the road, who knows? So but it's always been fun.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Mixtapes and tasty cakes. We're here with Matt Porter. We'll see you guys next time.